Everyone, welcome to the ServiceNowStar. This is the first episode where we can do some ServiceNow questions and answers. So we're going to answer some of the questions that we got from the community. Welcome. This is your ServiceNow developer, Mohammed Rashid Kamal. We're going to go ahead and start in some of the common ServiceNow questions. Before we get started, if you guys are new here to the ServiceNow Star, I'm Mohammed Rashid Kamal. Welcome. So with the ServiceNow Star, we do a lot of cool stuff related with the ServiceNow. Let's go ahead and show you one important video that we have here for the ServiceNow Star. Let's go ahead and watch that. So brothers and sisters, welcome everyone.
ServiceNow is many things.
Not only it's flexible,
but also extremely powerful
in every aspect of design.
Learn ServiceNow by joining ServiceNowStar.
ServiceNowStar is a single place where you can get ServiceNow questions and answers so that you can be ready to pass your certification as well as
ServiceNow demo.
Exactly. A lot of demos here in ServiceNowStar. You get a demo on ITSM, ITBM, Service Portal, so many things. Join ServiceNowStar today.
And also the Service Portal.
Yes. Join ServiceNowStar today to get a lot of things related to Service Portal, widget development. You'll get a lot of those things, cool features, and also tips and tricks how you can easily develop your own service portal using so many experience gathered from one of the ServiceNow developer, Mohammed Rashid Kamal, has worked for many C-suite company. So he's now sharing his experience with the ServiceNowStar.
Yeah. Become a ServiceNow star.
There are a lot of releases coming from the ServiceNow. We are in Orlando. Paris is coming up. Quebec
and Rome are going to be in the 2021.
If you want to be on top of your release, which is coming from the ServiceNow, you can join today ServiceNowStar. Join ServiceNowStar today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share our videos, and we thank you for that, ServiceNowStar. With that, now we're gonna go ahead and move to the first question here. Welcome everyone. Like you said, today we're gonna do some of important ServiceNow questions and answers. We're gonna answer some of the questions that we have from the community. So here, what we're gonna do today here is we're gonna answer some of your questions. Welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and start. So the first question here that came, what is ServiceNow? So in order to answer ServiceNow, I highly suggest to remember how you can log into your ServiceNow. So the first question. So here, in order to log into your ServiceNow, in order to access ServiceNow, you don't need to download an application, or you don't need to install a software into your computer or device. What you can do is you're gonna reach it through a link, right? A given link. Good example, if you went to the developer.servicenow, where I am right now, I can be able to log in there and see my application in there. So ServiceNow is a cloud-based. So these tell you that now these days things are moving fast, right? It's a cloud-based applications are really growing very fast. So what ServiceNow is, it's a cloud-based application. It's an application, right? What kind of application? But it is a cloud-based application. And that's the first piece of answer. And the second piece of answer could come, and then what is it? What are we gonna do with the ServiceNow? Okay, it leads you to service management. You're managing a service, right? Different kinds of service. Managing a service, service management, and it's a tool, service management tool, one of the service management tool. I can tell you, I've used several, and I'm really familiar with the different types of service management tool. And there are several points that make ServiceNow number one and top priority to be among the ServiceNow tools, among the IT management tools. So it is a cloud-based. That's the first thing you need to know. And the second part is it is a service management tool. And the second question that came is about the release, the ServiceNow release. And the first here, the question is saying that what are the ServiceNow release? And the ServiceNow release, and also what is release means. See, release. So here in ServiceNow, there are new release gonna come. This new release will come with this new release will come with a different functionalities. These enhancements and functionalities, you might think of something new functionality come every time. Let's say the AIs, the artificial intelligence or the chatbots, all are came through a release. And now, what is the current release that we are in ServiceNow? We are in Cubic. We are in Cubic, which is the just released. Then the next one, so the Cubic is the one where we are at right now. So more is gonna come, like after 6 months, another release gonna come. In that time, a number of new functionality will come with it as well. So always ServiceNow is adding and becoming now more to the mobile, improving the mobile functionality. And in general, when you think about ServiceNow, when it came, it was primarily on the ITSM area, IT service management, but eventually it's growing bigger and bigger and adding a number of different functionality, moving like the ITBM, IT, the business management, and not only that, the operation management. Nowadays, it's really the backbone of many IT organizations or companies. And now that is really supported by the ServiceNow. So the operation management. So when you manage your operations, different operations as a service, you can be able to not only preventing outage, but also you can also you can even stop those outages before they complicate and shut down your organization at all. Think of a server, given server, and before implementing the IT operation management, what we call it ITOM, or the service mapping, you may not know which service within a given service, which component or the configuration item is connected with which configuration item. So if one server is down, now you may know that, hey, service is down. People are not be able to log in. That is the time you're going to realize that one of your servers is down. But with the implementation of the IT operation management, specifically this IT operation management, specifically the service mapping, help you reduce before those outages happen, before even your client or before even your customer tell you know it ahead of time. And you can make yourself ready to prevent those ahead of time. Okay, you're gonna take a look at all of those cool features later on in deep. But what I am showing you right here is we are in Cubic release. It just released, and before that there was a Paris release and also Orlando. So all those, when those all versions came or release came, they came with a huge enhancement, a huge additional new features. And the other important thing here, in terms of ServiceNow here, when a given release comes, there are multiple patches could come in between the release. Let's say before Cubic came, there was a Paris release, and after Paris came, so and before QB came, there was a number of patches, like 9, 10 patches. So all those patches, it could be a fix. So anything that happened, a quick fix. Um, Maybe any issue in the platform after it get released. So that could be one reason. Or it could be, not only those hard fixes, but sometimes there could be some issue that wasn't fixed, that wasn't realized, or something that might prevent the users or impacting the users. And the users, we don't want them, ServiceNow may not want them to wait until a new release comes. So that way, the second, those patch will come eventually. So now I'm going to take you directly to the ServiceNow instance, to my ServiceNow developer instance, and show you, and we're going to continue answer some of your questions that came from you. So let's move to, we're going to move to, all right, so here is my developer instance. So this is my developer instance. You can see it within this developer instance. As you can see, it has some key parts. So here, just next to me, where I sit right here, is there is application navigator. So the one of the question could be here is your application navigator. The application navigator, where you can type here and find different modules. These modules are links. They are ready-made links. You can just click them and it will take you. Like if I go ahead and click incident over here, incident is going to bring me to a list of incidents. Or if I want to create a new incident, and then I will come up with that as well. Right? So you can see right there, I write incident. And within that, the first thing that comes is self-service. Self-service. We'll talk about that also in a little bit later. But self-service is also really important in ServiceNow in terms of managing things, like in terms of managing could be incidents, problems. Self-service plays a key vital role in ServiceNow. And the other important thing here, if I move a little bit down right there, you'll see incident. So incident is just a module. The incident is a module, and within that, it got a number of sub-modules. So you might be asking that, how can I create an incident? So to create an incident, you go to your module incident, and within that, you have got create new. So when you click create new, so you'll be able to create a new incident. You might see incident assigned to you. That means it's filtering out all incidents that are assigned to yourself, right? So, and the other question that we have is, what is the difference between configuration and customization? Very good question. Yes. So by the way, for those of you who just joined us, we are answering some of your questions that came from the community. We are on a Q&A session, questions and answers. We're gonna answer the top 50 questions that we got. And we already covered a couple of questions, so we're gonna continue, but if you have more questions, you can send them over. You wanna send it by email, you can send it directly to ServiceNowStar email at gmail.com, or you can send it contact@ServiceNowStar.com. And this is Mohammed Rashid Kamal. Welcome everyone. You see a couple of people are joining us from different area. Let us know you guys joining us today. And here today is May the 2nd, 2021. Perfect. So now one of the questions we got is a difference between configuration and customization. So in order to answer that, I always like to give, to explain this by example. Let's say configuration and customization. Let's say you got a brand new car, Toyota. You got a brand new car, Toyota, and once you get that car, what you get from the out of the box, what I say the base, you'll get the best features. That car might have a best feature that everyone can have it, everyone. So if you went to a Toyota shop and buy a Toyota right there, one of the Toyota, and you get the best features. Okay, the best features. And sometimes you may want additional features. Okay, you may want an additional features on the car once you buy, because you cannot make a new car by yourself. You're not gonna sit down at home and build a new car by yourself. It will take you time. But you went to a shop and you buy the Toyota car, and you will change that Toyota. Let's say it's a 4-wheel, and you might turn that 4-wheel to a 3-wheel, or you might turn the 4-wheel that can carry 5 people, and you might turn it to a 7 people, or you might change it to a bigger cargo, just removing the chairs. You see, what you're doing right there is you customizing that car. So when you configure it, you're not changing the code where it comes from the ServiceNow. Let's say you have got the form, the incident form, and when you have that the incident form, you don't want to change it. You don't want to change it. The codes that you have previously that you get from the ServiceNow. What you need to do here is when you do configure, you may do some configurations, right? There are some tables that you already, there are some fields that you already have that came through the out of the box, what we call it the base system. And you just need to configure, like if they don't want some of the field, you can just remove them. And if they want an additional field that you already have within ServiceNow system, you can just go ahead and add it. A good example that I want to mention to you here is, I want to take you to the project module here. In ServiceNow, you can manage your project as well, okay, using the project portfolio management. So if you go to project, and scroll down a little bit down here in the application navigator, and you will come up with, all right, projects. Within that, there's a project workspace, you have create new, and then also all. So if I want to go ahead and create a new project right here, and your client might ask you to make some modification to the project form. The modification, it could be either the configuration that you might come up with configuring the form to satisfy your clients, or you might need to just customize it. So when I mean by customization, you are changing the code that came from the service. You're changing the code, and it has some impediment, or I would say it has some problems, like side effects when you specifically upgrade. The first question we answered that came from the community here is that, what are the release, right? What are the release that ServiceNow has? And this release, every time, let's say from Paris to Cubic, upgrade your instance from Paris to Cubic. And when you upgrade, if you make a lot of customization, it's up to you to go ahead and take care of those changes after upgrade. So you may not immediately, or we may not, in a short time, you may not be able to go back to work your instance right after you upgrade, because you have to go ahead and take care of those skipped changes. We call them skipped change in ServiceNow. So you need to go ahead and take care of that. So that is the difference between your customization and your configuration. But in terms of configuration, you're not changing the code of the ServiceNow. What you're doing is you're just configuring it. You may configure in form design and add some more fields to it, which already found in ServiceNow. Or good example here. So that's one thing. Or you might remove some of the fields that you have it already, that you get it out of the box. Let's say here, got some of, like, I don't have number right here. I don't have number field here in the project, but I still have it. I still have it that came through the out of the box. What I would do as a developer, I need to look at which route should I go. Should I go to the customization route, or should I go to the configuration route? First thing, always go for configuration. Now why? Because it really saves your time, your development time. What I would do over here, I'm just gonna go ahead and find the number, and I can see that number is there. Okay, Hope you guys can see it as well. Number right there. So I can just drag and add it here and put it here just above the state. I can add it above the state, the number field. Now it is added. What I did here is a configuration. Did I change any code of the service now? No, I didn't change. So is this going to impact me during upgrade? No, it will not. It will not going to impact me. What I did is just a configuration. So now I can just go ahead and save it. So what I did, you see, from the out of the box or from the base table, when the table comes, it will come in a certain fashion, certain most common fashion. Then you can play around to satisfy your client, How can I satisfy your client? So the route you need to go is either configuration or customization. Always give a priority for configuration. Always try to keep your development as close as possible to the base system. Do not shift it toward customization. If you do that, your client's gonna pay the price during upgrade. It's gonna be really, really tough to upgrade, and you may not even like specifically when you're upgrading your production instance, it will take you so long to bring back your instance into a function, a normal function, right? So that is an important. I hope you guys get it, the difference between configuration and customization. Now we're gonna go ahead and move to the other question that we get it related with the CMDB. So the question here is, what is CMDB? And what is the importance of CMDB in terms of in ServiceNow? Very good question. For someone who can send that question is, I want to say thank you. It's a very good question. So when you talk about CMDB, it is a configuration management database. So CMDB stands for the configuration management database. See, in ServiceNow, everything came as a table. Like if I, what I see right here in project 4, and you see the tips that I can share here with you is in order to see what is the name of this table, PM underscore project. So if you just take that PM underscore project and put it here in the application navigator and you say that list, you can have, you will have a list of projects that you have in your instance. Okay, so here I'm trying to connect the dots between the tables and the CMDB. So CMDB, which is Configuration Management Database, is the base table or the base table, CMDB CI, CMDB underscore CI. So that's the base table within the ServiceNow. We have several tables that extended from this base table. So when I say extend, it's another very good question. Extend, when I say extend means, let's say you have got an incident 4, all right? And you have got here a CMDB table, CMDB CI table. And from that, you have got several tables that are extended. When they extended, there are some functionality that came through. It could be like the field called state. And this state field, you'll have it in your CMDB CI table, okay? And also any tables that are extended from that. And if they have that state field, and whenever you make a change to that field, you are changing across the board. So you have to make sure that when you extend the base tables like CMDB CI, or you might extend any other table within ServiceNow. Extending means like you're getting all the fields that you have, and you're creating like parent-child relationship. So you got a parent, and the child will get everything from the parent, and you can you can make whatever change you want to the child without affecting the parent. But when you do that, you have to make sure that whenever you make a change to the parent, you are changing to the child as well, if those functionalities have came down to the child. So in order to go to the CMDB CI, which is the base table here, what I would do, I'm just going to write CMDB underscore CI dot list. What did that mean? CMDB underscore CI dot list. Just gonna click it here, click enter, cmdbci.list. So we are here learning as well the shortcuts and the trips as well. So here, this is the base table that we have. Right there you can see that cmdb underscore ci, cmdb underscore ci. And this is the base table. And if I go ahead and open one of these record, the configuration item record, and you'll see some fields over here. And further, we can customize it, not an issue. We can further customize this one, configure this one by going configure, either form design or form layout. It's up to you. I mean, I like to go, there are situations I will use form design, and there are some situations that I would use form layout. But it's up to you. You can follow whichever route you want, form design or form layout. But for me, form design, I like it. I like it because it's going to open in a new browser for me, and I can take a look at which table it is right there, as you can see, and I can see as well the view, what view I'm making the change, right? And also the field available, so I can see them. I can search from available, and if I want to create a new field right here, I can just go ahead under the field tab, right? So then here we have got a number of fields that came out of the box. Here you can see asset path, very important, asset path. We will talk a lot about this in configuration management and also in discovery and service mapping. Asset path is really important when you create service mapping. When you map your services and create service, asset path is very important. Assigned, assigned to, is really important. And also attestation score, attested by. So here is another thing I can tell you here. You may have some new fields that you may not know it before. What version I am right now is in Cubase, so you may see some fields that are new here, but we'll check those on the release notes. Like I said, ServiceNow always come with the release notes in every release, so you know which one's changed and what is new as well. Perfect. In the comment, the company, you see, you don't need to create all those fields. It's already there within the ServiceNow. It's already come from the ServiceNow. So what do you need to do? You just need to configure by drag and drop, by their class. Very important field, class. In our discovery and service mapping, it's very important field, class. Yes, you can categorize, or you can sort your configuration items by class, and based on that class you can manage them as well. And we have got some formatters as well. You can see right there, there's activity filter, there's a CI relationship. If you want to add the CI relationship, it's easy. You can just go ahead and add those. So this is, we answered, this is a very good question, which is CMDB CI. What is CMDB? Configuration Management Database. It's a base table within the ServiceNow. And now let's move on to the third question that we get. So the third question is, what are the advantage of scoped app versus global application? Very nice question. Thank you for sending that. So here, in order to answer this scoped app and global application, I'm going to give you a scenario where I can take you to an office, okay? An office. Let's say you have a big building where you have a number of small offices, and your big building, this big building has its own, it has a big building. Within that, you have different departments. These different departments may run different groups within it as well. And now you might think, hey, which route should I go? Should I create a scoped application, or should I create a global application so that every department can use it within one organization? Very nice question. Because answering this question, is really critical. You answer it and go from the beginning, going over. So a scoped application or a global application is very important. It's number one. If you decide from the beginning going to a global application, it is not easy to move your whatever application you build in the global to move it to a scoped application later in time. It will take you, you may pay a huge price for that, for your decision. So always talk with your stakeholders and sit down with them. Would there be any, uh, disparity, or any department they want their own functionality, or is there any difference? Let's say within one agency, you might have different departments, and these different departments might run project portfolio management, managing project in a different way. Some might have 5 steps, and some might have 4 steps. And if you build, if you make a change to your project form, what we call it, PM underscore project table, you make a change, a global change to it, it will impact everyone, right? So everybody needs to use that prescribed form. But if you, from the beginning, create a scoped application, now you're creating a barrier from one department to the other department. So this department can make a change in whatever way he wants, than the other one. There could be some, similar functionality, but they can make. So now there's a barrier here. The scoped applications are really, really important. Like I said at the beginning, customization and configuration, always try to stick with configuration than customization. And here, always try to stick with creating a scoped app than making a change or creating a global application. Because the global applications are, you are making a change to a global application. So your department, everyone can have the same functionality, and that may not be the case in every time, right? So the advantage of creating a scoped application is really important. There could be some times that can help you. So I hope we answered your question that came to the ServiceNowStar community. I want to say thank you so much for your questions. We are here to answer your questions, and that's all we have today. This is a continuation episode until we got 50. So we have 50 questions. We didn't cover all of them that we got from the community. I've answered so far, I think, at least 10 questions. So we're going to come back on the second episode to answer the next 10 questions. So if you still have more questions regarding ServiceNow, feel free to send them. Contact at ServiceNowStar.com, or you can send them. You can send it in whichever you want, whichever way you want, or you can send directly to me, contact at ServiceNowStar.com, or you can send it ServiceNowStar email at gmail.com. That's all we have. Make sure you like, comment, and also subscribe to our YouTube channels. And we want to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining here at the ServiceNow Store. So, for those of you who just joined us, we have answered some of 10 questions that came from the community. This is a continuation, so we just answered only 10 in the last half an hour. We're gonna continue on the next episode to answer another 10 questions that came from the community. So that's all we have. Maybe for those of you who are new here, welcome. I'm Mohammed Rashid Kamal. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce you to the ServiceNow Star. If you guys are new here with this short.
ServiceNow is many things.
Not only it's flexible,
but also extremely powerful
in every aspect of design.
Learn ServiceNow by joining ServiceNow Star.
ServiceNow Star is a single place where you can get ServiceNow questions and answers, so that you can be ready to pass your certification, as well as
ServiceNow demo.
Exactly, a lot of demos here in ServiceNow Star. You get a demo on ITSM, ITPM, Service Portal, so many things. Join ServiceNow Star today.
And also the Service Portal.
Yes, Bam bam bam! Join ServiceNowStar today to get a lot of things related to Service Portal, widget developments. You'll get a lot of those things, cool features, and also tips and tricks how you can easily develop your own Service Portal using so many experience gathered from one of the ServiceNow developer, Mohammed Rashid Kamal, has worked for many C-suite company. So he's now sharing his experience. He is with the ServiceNowStar.
Yeah. Become a ServiceNow star.
There are a lot of releases coming from the ServiceNow. We are in Orlando. Paris is coming up. Quebec
And Rome are gonna be in the Spectacular 21.
If you wanna be on top of your release, which is coming from the ServiceNow, you can join today ServiceNowStar. Join ServiceNowStar today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share our videos, and we thank you for that, ServiceNowStar. Sorry guys, we were unmute here. So thank you so much for joining us. This concludes our episode. This is episode 1. We are answering the question that came from the community. We have answered the first 10 questions that we get from the community regarding what a ServiceNow is, what a cloud-based application is, and also what are the advantage and disadvantage of configuration and customization, and which route should I take my client? Is it to configure, customize it, and what are the release in ServiceNow, and also what are some of the parts, what we get out of the patch or from upgrading our instance. All those things we have discussed in this episode, and also we have covered what a scoped application and also a global application with a scenario. So if you have a client, maybe a new client to ServiceNow and asking you which route to go, either to start working on a global application or creating a custom application to a different department. So it's time for you to watch this video. And when I say thank you so much, and that's all we have. This is Mohammed Rashid Kamal from the ServiceNowStar. We'll see you on the next episode. I'm gonna come back answering the next 10 questions that came from you guys. I say thank you so much. If you have more questions, you can send it over. Contact at ServiceNowStar.com. That's all we have. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.